Welcome to Let's Go Live. I'm Gigi Meyer, and I have with me fantasy and dark romance author S. Vaughn. So we're going to get all into all those two sides. So welcome, Vaughn.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for having me, Gigi.
I've been looking forward to this because I was kind of doing a deep dive on the two books that you have out, and then we also, you sent me an excerpt for the new fantasy book that's coming up. So we're going to get all into that, and I'm so excited. So I have a bunch of questions, so super
Amazing.
easy.
Amazing. I'm excited too.
So you already have two dark romance books out.
Yes.
So talk to us about why you chose dark romance, and then we'll get into those books.
I guess they chose me. I mean,
Oh, do
yeah.
tell.
I just kind of write what comes to me. So that's like it just I guess I had a dream and that's what I wrote. I had a dream that was my FMC and her journey and that I wrote it down.
Okay, that's fascinating because a lot of people don't remember their dreams. So yours must have been so vivid that you were able to, did you wake up the next morning or was this in the middle of the night, blurry, trying to get it down on paper?
You know, I don't really remember. I mean, I think I dreamt like a scene. Do you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Yep.
Like I had a scene and I'm like, "Oh, okay, yes." And then I had to go from there. So,
Well, that's how Twilight started. The whole series was she just had a scene. The author, Stephanie Meyer talks about this in like every interview, and she's like, I know, I was just like, ooh, what happens next? And what happens next? And kept asking that question. So then, you get a whole like blockbuster series, which we all want that energy for you, me, the world. Yes.
right, yeah. Hey, it was a scene and I went from there.
Okay, so are you going to give us a sneak peek? No spoilers, but what scene was it that you dreamed of that then turned into, well, it's two books. Is it going to be a series?
It's just the two.
Oh, hey, girl, don't say just the two, though. One little scene blossoms into a duet. So
Well,
awesome.
yeah, it was actually planned to be the duet.
Nice.
Yeah. And I know some people were like, I want a third. Actually, my editor asked for a third as well.
Hey, that's a good thing. When they want more, leave them wanting more. Mm.
But I don't have, I mean, my character didn't leave me with more. I mean,
They're like, they're done.
yeah, you're probably the same with your characters. They tell you their stories. It's just me. My characters tell me their stories. And I've tried to write something that my character didn't tell me or, and it just doesn't work out.
I always say I'm a court reporter. I just, the action's happening and I'm just in the corner quietly typing away. That's how I compare it to.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. If it's like if they're not there telling me about it, I can't write it down. I can't force it to come. So,
Okay, so if they're dictating the story, do they sometimes just take like a hard right turn into nowhere and you're like, what are we doing, guys? Everybody, fire drill, hold on.
I think that happens sometimes. Yes. Or you want it to go this one way and yeah, you're like, but the characters don't want it that way. So, if you've read my books in book two, things kind of did. They took a whole right turn and things happened. And I'm like, okay, well, yep, that's how it turned out. Sorry, guys.
I tell my
Sorry.
I understand fully. Like I'll tell my readers like, oh my gosh, I didn't see that coming. I was like, girl, same. I didn't see it coming either.
Yeah, me neither. I was like, okay, well, this happened. Yep, yep. It just happened.
And when you're a writer, you completely understand. But when you're a bookstagrammer or just a book blogger, but reading
Yeah.
books, they're like, "What are you talking about? You're the one that wrote this." You're like, I mean, yeah, but still."
Yes, exactly. Like I am the author, but I only have like this much control because your characters just sort of do their own thing, you know? And
And
if
then
you,
our editors come back and they're just like, look, Vaughn, you can't do this. You got to do that. You got to change that. And you're like, I don't have any control.
yeah, you're like, well, okay, I'll try.
So, which scene is it a spoiler scene if you tell us which one was your? I call them divine downloads. I feel like they come from somewhere, right? We didn't think of them before, so they're brewing in the middle of the night from some inspiration. Are you able to tell us the scene, or will that spoil things?
Well, it's like the opening scene. Are you talking from my first books?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the opening scene where she's like in they call it the black room with like up on the cross, like her arms are secured, her legs are secured, and there's a mirror in front of her, and I saw that scene. Like, and that's like the first scene of the book. Like she
Dang, that is such a good scene. So no wonder you're just like, I gotta see where this goes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so let's stop there for a moment. You dream this dream.
Mhm.
You wake up at some point, you decide to just, jot it down. When do you decide the story is no longer for your eyes only or for pleasure, and it's something that you want to not only investigate or write the rest of the story, but you want to release it? Because a lot of people write and it never sees the light of day.
That's a good question. I think like I always wanted to write a book and publish and release it. Like I think it was like 10 years ago. I always say 10 years, but I think I'll be saying 10 years forever until I've been a 10 years published author. So I don't know how long ago it was.
Oh, when people say the 80s was 30 years ago, I was like, shut your mouth. Or
Yeah.
40 years ago, I'm like, no, it wasn't. No, it
So
wasn't.
at some point in my past, I wanted to write a book and publish it. And I started and then I was like, yeah, I don't really know how to do this. So I took a class with an author. Um, she was a romance author, and I wasn't sure I was writing romance, but I was writing a book, and she just happened to be romance. So that they weren't connected at all at the time. And she gave me lots of pointers, lots of tips, lots of things. And she told me when I turned in my writing, she says, you write very well. And I was like, great. But I had never had a story. You know as well as I do, you have to have a story. You
Mm-hmm.
have a character with a character arc who goes through something.
A journey. Yeah, there's a art to all this, a craft.
Right. And at the end they come out and they've like learned something. Like we don't just get in there and we just babble. You
Yeah.
know, you might read a book and not realize that the character has learned something because you're just enjoying the book. But we authors know that they've learned something. Well, I never had that before, right? I never had the character who learned something, who went
Oh,
through it.
in your previous
In
works before this?
previous, yeah, in my previous works, I just had dreams or just thoughts or ideas, but I never had that. Well, then I had this dream about this character, and I just knew. I knew what her journey was.
Ooh.
Like, and then I knew her journey, and then I had that dream about that scene, and then things just started coming to me. And I kind of figured out how she was going to get there. And then, so once I had that, I knew, well, this is my book. I'm going to have to publish this somehow.
You're like, I'll figure all that out. Now, I find that part is just magic. Because especially when you write stories that, well, your story is nothing like your real life. God, I hope not.
No, 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 no.
And so uh, it's always fascinating to me, like where that comes from, because it's in us, obviously.
Yeah.
But then there's a certain element of just pure magic that happens.
Yes. Right. It's all like, how did I get there? How did I get that in a book? Like, how did it end up being a book? You know, like, oh, look, like this.
Ooh, show us.
It's a book. Like, That's my first book.
Yeah, I know. I meant to tell you, compliment you. The covers are awesome.
I got lucky with my cover artists. I don't know how I got so lucky with my cover artists and my editor. Being an indie author, I know you like sometimes you don't get lucky with that stuff.
Correct.
And somehow I just lucked out.
It was meant to be. I don't think it, I mean, certain bits were luck, but I just feel like it's, everything lining up for it to happen in your favor. That's how I believe.
Yeah, it just worked out well for me.
Well, because there's not really magic that exists in the world, so I'd like to have like little examples like that of like, oh yeah, there's something special and magical, and all these little invisible threads between me and you and him, and that, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, how long did it take you then to write this first book?
I've been asked that before and I'm not sure I remember.
Hmm.
I think I started it probably early in 2024 and then published in November. So
And how many pages or how many words is it?
it's um it's pretty fairly like short. It's on the shorter side. It's only like 215 pages.
Hmm.
So it's a quick read for most of our bookstagrammers. They can sit down in one day with it.
I love that because these voracious readers, I mean, they will pick up a book and some can read like 3 books a day. I'm like, wow.
I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the longer books, they can get those in. But yes. So the two of them are about the same.
But really, that's kind of quick because you are brand new to the entire indie world process, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not only just, getting an editor and then getting it formatted however you do that, and then finding your graphics design, then it's the marketing. I mean, it's just like a million steps to becoming a published author.
Yeah. But I feel like nobody knows who I am, so having a shorter book is probably better. They're more likely to give it a shot because it's shorter.
Oh, that is true. Yeah, I
Like
could
you're,
see that.
yeah, if it were like 500 pages, they might be like, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know that person."
Yeah, yeah, getting into the chunky books. And it's easy to get to that kind of level with fantasy because there's so much world building.
Yes,
So
yes.
take us through lightly, no spoilers. What is book one, and then what is book two?
So book one is you have my Ray Ellis. She's in a disheartening, disappointing marriage,
Mm.
and her husband decides to take her on a vacation for her 40th birthday for some reason. She's not sure why. And they get to Mexico, which is not her favorite place in the world, but they go,
Mm.
and he kind of ditches her to go off and do her own thing. And so she decides to go on a like an adventure to the now
Oh,
I'm
the Mayan ruins?
thank you. See, I'm so
I know, hey, girl, I was
understand.
there. Let's do some sign language.
You understand my sign language. And she gets kidnapped by the Mexican cartel.
Oh, dang. And I feel like that could legitimately happen, though.
It's quite possible. I
Like
mean,
Americans are the favorite hostage.
yeah. And truly, if you look at human trafficking, that actually is like the lowest on the totem pole of when people are human trafficked, but it could happen. Human,
Really? That's the lowest.
yeah, human trafficking actually happens at home more often than internationally.
Wow, that is scary.
It is scary, yeah. So I wrote the book not only to like tell my character's story, but it also brings light to a terrible uh, crime.
Well, and I mean, I'd imagine the research on that is pretty tough, pretty hard on you.
Um, Well, I knew a fair amount of it. I was I got involved in supporting human trafficking efforts. You know, hard to support other than monetarily unless you have a lot of time to donate to the cause, just because you can't like get in there and support the survivors and just passing in the night. You have to have a lot of time to do that, to create those relationships. So mostly for me, it's just I only have the money, I don't have the time. So I
Well, and I get to thinking, just as you say that, the amount of resources it takes, it's a therapist, it's a doctor, it's
Mhm.
getting support, assistance, a safe home. I mean, it's a myriad of people. It really does take a village to be able to support one victim.
Right.
Right.
And here, just awareness is probably the biggest thing that you can do at this point. And so
Mhm.
awareness to that heinous crime is the other thing that I could do. So through just writing a book about it, and in the back, I just raise awareness, and then everybody who reads my newsletter gets a little bit extra. I have a human trafficking corner, so I just give out little information every month.
Do you really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So if people subscribe to your newsletter, you are dedicated as your platform to human trafficking
Mm-hmm.
and trying to absolve it. I mean, it's so tragic that people are a commodity. It blows my mind, but I can't be naive to it, right? It happens every day.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just a little bit of information. It's hard to make it different because it's just the same, you know. So I just kind of regurgitate the same information in different ways, maybe different organizations. I'll probably end up recycling, but every month there's just a little section on human trafficking because I only send mine out once a month. I can't wrap my brain around it any more than that.
But you never know which one someone's going to open, right? And so I don't know about if it being recycling or repurposing is such a bad thing because you want to stay top of mind with those because people, I don't know, I don't think they ignore it, but I think we kind of are just on information overload until
Yeah.
something happens, then it becomes real to you. And
Mm-hmm.
then those tips and tricks that you are sending out speak to them.
Yes. So I figure it's definitely worth it. I
Hmm.
share the information about human trafficking, and you just never know. Is somebody may identify that with someone they know someday and help someone. So, yeah, that's why I keep doing it.
Does it include hotlines, like where people can go to just, get a, report, handout, help up, that kind of thing?
I don't put that in there, but every month they can link to whatever
Mm.
I'm highlighting, and so there's always a place you can go for more information.
Perfect. Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow. That's incredible of you.
Yeah. Again, it's just awareness. Awareness is the first step in fighting that crime. So the more I can bring awareness to human trafficking.
Hmm. So where can people subscribe real quick to your newsletter to be able to get that information?
So I have that in my link tree, which is in my bio. So just hit the bio, and that'll take you to my link tree, and I've got my sign up in there.
Perfect. Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. That is so good. I want to be able to include that also in the show notes.
Cool. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so book one, does it take us through all the way through the kidnapping and then what happens, or like book two continue the after?
So book one is about like her. So she gets kidnapped. She has the leader, the cartel leader, who's decided that she's now his possession, and second, who becomes obsessed with her, and it's kind of her navigating those emotions, those feelings, those two men. And the second is like, is that love or is it obsession? Navigating that feeling because she had this husband who wasn't so great, and do I stay? Do I go? Do I want to get out of here?
Yeah.
What's going on? So her just kind of trying to navigate all that, coming into herself. And then, it is a spoiler, but it's not a spoiler because it's book 2 and y'all kind of can figure out if she gets away. Right. But book 2 is her looking back and yeah, there were other women there with me before they kept me. They sold those women. I need to find them. And she wants to,
That's her journey.
yeah, that's her journey.
Wow, it sounds like an incredible series.
Well, I got like a few times writing it, because you got a little emotional with my character.
Well, and how could you not, right? Because it is a crime that affects women more than men. And we're powerless sometimes. In some of these countries, women don't have the same rights as men. And
Mm-hmm.
so, how could you not get passionate and emotional when you're writing that? Because it's such an injustice rising up in you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know if you know this because my debut novel was a cartel kidnap romance in Mexico.
I did not know that. Oh my goodness. What a coincidence.
I was like, girl, what are we doing over here with these debut novels?
Yeah, kidding. Holy
Your
crap.
debut, my debut. Yeah. Let's everybody just write about the same thing.
You're right.
So mine started out, my opening scene started out as a dream as well. So it's getting kind of spooky, our similarity.
Oh my gracious, that is
But
crazy.
she was rescuing trafficked girls. And my ex-husband's family is all from New Mexico. I love that state. It is a beautiful state. They call it, the land of the enchantment. And
Oh,
it for so many reasons. But it's also very desolate. I mean, I've been to all over that state, Flagstaff, Socorro, Rio Doso. I mean, I've been, and then of course, Santa Fe and Albuquerque and all that. But anyway, there is a remote town that's literally like the other side of the border. And this, of
mm-hmm.
course, is all before all this border situation with all these administrations, all that. I don't know
Yeah.
about that. But it's 3 miles. And so Columbus, New Mexico, there's an old, oh gosh, I'm going to get it wrong, but I wanted to say it was like an old Pancho Villa fort, way back from when like Spain had owned that, and then Mexico. So anyway, long story short, that's where it opened up. So she's racing across the desert. She had already kind of rescued these women with her team,
Okay.
and they split off into the desert. And if you've ever been in that part of the desert, which I actually have been down there, it is super remote. Everything is monitored, and they'll say it right on the signs. Like the speed is monitored by air. No, there's no support. So like you better make sure your car doesn't overheat when you go through Death Valley or when you're going down, through the White Sands
Yeah.
by like Los Alamos. And so all that over there, you better make sure you have plenty of water. Your cell phone's not going to work. It's just kind of a really eerie feeling where you don't have any support.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
crazy.
I
Oh my
know.
God. The premise is so close. I mean, whew, interesting.
Well, it's a whole situation, but I did back flashbacks. So she was involved with this. She was skateboarding. It was called like Miles for Medicine. She was like a big skateboarder for her mom's breast cancer
Mm-hmm.
treatment. Falls in love with the with one of her largest donors because she gets sick coming through the desert. They all get sick, food poisoning, heat exhaustion, whatever the case is. This cartel king flies his helicopter out to the middle of the desert. He rescues her. She's 18. He's smitten. He falls in love. She's there with like her just little like security team, just like a couple of dudes. Nothing compared to, cartel security.
Yeah.
They fall in love. She realizes what is going on and they get out of there. 5 years later, she's rescuing, races across the desert, sees this place and like, let me hope it's abandoned. Let me hope he's not here anymore. Let me hope, it's not his outpost in the US. They've shut him down. And she sneaks in through this like back old fort part and he's there. And
Oh.
she gets kidnapped. Well, she gets beaten first, but
Oh.
by his second.
Oh my goodness.
But the second wants to kill her.
Oh. Well, that's a little different.
Oh, yeah, that one is, you want to talk about, it was incredibly gory. Like those last several scenes are pretty gory. So, and she has a dog. Yeah. So, anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to hijack this. This is
No,
so,
that's okay. That's
but the
okay.
similarities were starting to add up, and I'm like, wow, this math is really mathing tonight.
Yeah, right? That's crazy.
So, it took you a little under a year to
Mhm.
literally go from a dream to actually publishing, which you have to be proud of yourself because we in life we all make these promises and commitments to ourselves and like I'm going to do this, but you could have quit every single day every time you wanted to write or hit a roadblock or I don't know how to do this or where I get this vendor or this resource or how do I do that, and you kept going all the way through. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Oh.
So then book two, you release in November. Are you writing book two immediately after because it's already out?
So, yes. So while she was editing book one, I started writing book two.
Ah, I kept the story going.
Because I got some advice that said you should actually have your first two books written, even your third book, before you even publish your first book. Well, I'd already advertised when I was publishing my first book, so I didn't feel like I could rescind that.
Yep, yep, yep.
So I just started working on book two so that I could get it out quicker. Like, because they were like, when you're a new author and people don't know you, you don't want to lose your role.
Sure, your momentum.
Yeah. So, especially when you have like a duet or something like that. When they're standalones, it's probably not as important because they don't need that second book,
Right.
right? But when you have a duet, you don't want to lose your momentum. So I really worked really hard, and while I was getting editing done, I was writing book two.
So are you a pantser or a plotter?
I'm a plotter.
Oh, walk us through how that works. For those that are listening or watching, I feel like everybody wants to write a book, but they don't know where to start. And so you're a plotter. How does that work?
So it's I
Big sigh.
yeah, it's not it sounds very complex, but essentially I take my characters, my main characters, and then I figure out who they are, what their goals are, what their wants are. I write those down. Then I go back and I figure out like my story arc. So, how does the story fit into who they are? I used to plan a little bit more of each chapter, but I found out that doing that is a little too confining. So I just figure out my characters and I find out the big plots, like um, what there's just points in your book that have to happen at certain places. Like
Yeah.
in Act One, has to happen. Act Two, these things have to happen. So I've answered those questions throughout the book, right? And then I fill in the gaps with writing. And I just
Well,
know certain things have to go in the book. Does that make sense?
complete sense because plotters, some of them get really detailed on their outlines, but then I feel like that magic we talked about earlier where the characters just take over.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you allow room for that if you're so rigid. And I can understand why you're saying, look, I got the end, I got the beginning, several points I want to cover, beats I want to, hit. But
Mm-hmm.
the journey, the nitty gritty details, we're just going to leave up to the characters and I'll discover as I go.
Yeah. So there are like major points. Like I have to hit like here's Act One, here's the things in the acts that I have to hit. And I've actually made a lot of changes. Like when I wrote the Armis Locust series, I was actually more rigid. And when I'm coming into this book, I actually read a couple of books, and so I've gotten some advice, I suppose you could say,
Yep.
through books.
Always learning.
Yeah, learning. And I am following a different plan, but I have to plot. Like I can't pants. Because if I just pants, you'd be like, what you talking about?
It's like over the river and through the woods. You're like, where are we going?
Pretty much. Because lost is you. You
Yeah, yeah.
know, I'd be like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I just babble. And I babble in life. Like I would write like I talk, and you would be completely lost because I get that way. You
Oh,
know?
but don't you think readers love a babbling character? You know how some people they get nervous, they just their mouth just goes in overdrive, right?
Yes,
I
but
would imagine readers love that.
that's one thing with the character. It's another thing with an author who expositions too much. If I get into a book and there's an author who does too much exposition and I'm like, what? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I gotta circle back. Where were we? What were we doing here? Oh, okay, wait. Oh, that's where we were. Now I'm gonna skip those 2 paragraphs and go here because
Yeah, you're like, what? What happened?
I got lost in your exposition. You
Where are
know,
we at?
yeah, that's what you would do with me if I didn't have, but it would be more like go back a whole couple pages and figure out where you were because your brain just went.
Okay, so we had to have curbs on this road.
Yes, yeah. I yeah. I just get lost in my own like translation, you know. So I need like a little bit of structure. Or people would get lost in my books. They'd be like, "Oh,
Okay, so how do you plot though? Are you using like Excel and just doing like general, like I want this to occur in the scene, that would be great? Are you on Scribner or something a little bit fancier?
somebody recommended this thing called Lore Forge." So I use it's free.
Lo-
It's the best word ever. Free.
Laurel Horch?
Lore, Lore, Forge, Forge, Lore.
Oh,
So you can put, there's like a section, you put all your characters in there, you can put your places, there's places for pictures, and since I'm doing, my next one's kind of it's like a series, you could put all your books in there and all your
cool.
characters, and you can connect your characters how they are meant to be connected, and it's, yeah, kind of cool.
Well, let me ask you this, and we'll go move on to the fantasy in a moment. On from book one to
Mm-hmm.
book two,
Mm-hmm.
we make a million mistakes. We don't know what we're doing. What happened with book one to book two? Did you get faster? Do you think your writing got better? Like, how did you grow and change as an author or a writer, I should say?
Mm, I don't know. I mean, I do I do see a little differences, but I feel like I've made bigger strides between that series and the fantasy. Does that make sense?
Okay. So, in what regard?
Just in the way I structure my books and how I plan out and those things. Um, I do see a difference in like when I read Taken Not Destroyed versus Mission of Destruction. I do see like a difference. I do spend a little more time like explaining things in Mission of Destruction, but I feel like I could have dove a little deeper into my character in both books, but I do like that it kind of moved a little faster and kind of got people through things. You can always dive deeper and, I feel like um
Vaughn, I completely understand because I'm an over communicator. What I want to do is I want to take the two people and then I want to blow them up, and then I want to Frankenstein them back together, and then I'm going to take you through the deep dive of every piece of why it has to be stitched this way and all that. And so thank goodness I have a developmental editor, and she's like, we don't need so much. Or, this is a repeat because you already said it in one way, and now you're doing it. I'm like, but it has to be in there. She's like, it doesn't have to be in there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think she did some of that to me too. Um, she didn't tell me that she never told me that I didn't give enough. And maybe I could have given more, which I read it sometimes and I'm like, I probably could have given a little more.
You're like, I agree. There could have been more there.
Yeah.
So, walk us through your fantasy series, and do you have a title yet for it?
Yeah, my first book is Hearts Burn Slow. Um, it is a standalone that's part of a series. It's like the first three books are world building, so
Mhm.
they're standalones, and they set things up. This is going to be quite the series. I have it all. You know how books are; they're all up here. They all
Oh
kind
yeah, marinating.
they all kind of just like keep growing, and they're there, and you can visualize them all. And if somebody asks you to explain them, you're just like, would you just like a camera? Because it all fits up there. It's there. And so they all marinate up there and they're all living up there. And I could tell you how they all go together
Mm.
if I had enough words.
Right?
Because when I start talking about it, it's hard to get it all out in a coherent string.
Oh, I understand. I had watched a YouTube marketing something, and she said, "What's your log line? You have to be able to tell people, your log line." I was like, "What is a log line? I never even heard that."
Well,
But
that's
basically,
for Hearts Burn Slow is my log line for that book.
oh, say it again.
So the log, that's what I gave you for Hearts Burn Slow. Is
Yes,
so it's the one line that tells you all about my book.
and that's in the caption for those of you that are watching or listening.
Yes. So it's the one line that brings everything together and tells you the whole book in one word, in one sentence that seems
Ooh.
like a run-on sentence.
With 8 commas.
Yes, 8 commas and a semicolon.
Oh, you're like, let me use all the punctuation.
I was like, I think I wrote this. Well, thank God for my editor because I know I've terrible English grammar. You know, I'm like, yeah, I butchered all that.
Yeah, oh yeah. I have two AI tools. I have Grammarly and I have Pro Write Aid. And I used to think I know where a comma went, girl. No, I don't. I don't ask me. I don't know where a comma is. I don't know anymore. So
Oh,
yeah, and
I don't.
then I
I
do all that just to make it readable to send out to the developmental editor, to send it to my real human life editor because I don't even know.
I let her fix it. I was like, I don't care.
Yeah, yeah. So on this fantasy series,
Yes.
you're going to have three standalones, but they're kind of interconnected because
Mm-hmm.
obviously you said they're world building.
Mm-hmm.
So, how many do you think? Because is it going to be? How many books do you think it's going to be? And is it a high fantasy, Regency, dark fantasy? What kind?
Well, it's. I always like trying to figure that one out. It is not high fantasy because the world building is it does include the human world. So
Oh, cool.
but it also is fairy. So
Mhm.
it's a mix of the two. So it starts in our world. It does include fairy. The world building, a lot of it is world building of our world and how things change. So the first three are the world builds. Then there's four, three or four that are a series, and then there's a possible 3 or 4 more that are a series that go together. These are, yeah,
Holy moly, that will be up to 11.
I know.
Do you find that daunting or are you excited?
I don't know which way to feel about it.
Vaughn, you're so cute. I swear that's such an honest answer.
Well, and I'm doing this group, right, with the flower series with like Chris Wood and Ivy and you.
Yep, we're in it together.
And that book is like, I am making it a prequel, but
Oh.
every time I start writing it, I get stuck doing Hearts Burn Slow. And so I haven't gotten anywhere on that book. God, I hope it's ready to publish in May.
I haven't started on mine at all. At
Oh,
all.
God, I'm
So,
so.
but y'all that don't know, behind the scenes, we are in this group to do this flower themed anthology that comes out. It's publishing in 2026. And every author has, obviously their week or their dedicated time to publish. So some of the authors in this group are like, oh my God, I already got mine done.
I know.
What?
I know. Like, well, okay. So, in all honesty, I wrote a version of the book, and I gave it to one of our fellow authors, and she read it, and I gave it to one of my street team members, and she couldn't finish reading it because something that she said I was a trigger for her, and I'm like, what? That's a trigger? I didn't think.
Whoa.
I know, and I was like, I didn't think that would be a trigger. Like it me, but it triggered her. And so that really disturbed me.
Of course. We don't
I,
want to.
I was very troubled by that.
Yes.
And
Yes.
especially because I didn't feel like it was a trigger, and then I didn't know how to address that. And then I didn't know how to advertise it, like what do I say? What do I say to people? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, how do I advertise this as a trigger? What do I say? And so then I got all stomached up about it, and I just
Oh.
threw it. And I just like, I'm going to rewrite this.
Well, I'll give you my opinion for my 2 cents. I have a dark series that has about every trigger in the world you can. I mean, it's pretty dark, right? And
Yeah.
so it's a lot of domestic violence. It's exploited minors, runaway teens, etc. And so I've reached out and talked to domestic abuse survivors. So I put all of them on my website, and I tell people do not go in blind. I have it on everywhere I put content warnings are on my website. So when you go to my website, which I can control that platform, they are all there. The
Yeah.
good, the bad, the ugly. And so it helps because, and I understand what you're talking about what may not be a trigger for us and then us not knowing. It's not intentional.
Right.
The one I found that a reader reached out to me and asked ahead of time because I told people, look, this dark series has it all: PTSD, dark thoughts, unaliving, you name it, it has it all. And so
Yeah.
she reached out and said, hey, is there any kind of like pregnancy talk or surprise pregnancy? And I said, no, but tell me more.
Yeah.
When leaning into that conversation, what does that mean? Tell me more. I'm not educated. And it was really fascinating how many women, even if they have children, still have pregnancy trauma, IVF trauma. So they don't want to read anything about surprise pregnancies or a 16-year-old cheerleader getting pregnant. So I thought that was a really great conversation to have to educate myself.
See, and so
And I think that's really what you need to take it as, is like, it's not for you to have to trash your work, but if you have to put a warning on it, just stick it on your website and say all content warnings on my website. And then it's good you're educated now, right? That's all we can do is like take that information and move forward.
I just don't know how to warn it. Does that make sense? Like, okay, so let
Mine
me.
are very generic. They say content warnings are available on the author website.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know what to say. So, okay, if
Well, could you go back to her? Does she? Are you in a place where you have a comfortable enough relationship to say, educate me through this?
I could ask her. Yeah.
If you're comfortable, I don't, obviously, we won't want to have a trauma inducing discussion about your trauma. That may be
Yeah.
crossing even more lines. But because I'm concerned, because I'm so nervous, I'm upset that you're upset, educate me, walk me through this. And so I've had actually two readers reach out about, talk to me about their IVF situations or their inability to actually have their own children. So they don't want to read adoption stories either.
Okay.
And I write spicy romance. I write spicy reverse age gaps. So I'm really like older women and younger men. I don't think there's going to be a surprise pregnancy in there,
No, probably not. But
but it's good to know.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I was just very surprised because this isn't obviously, like you said, it wasn't something that triggered me, and
Yeah.
it didn't seem to bother,
Other readers.
didn't seem to bother Amanda. She read it and she didn't say anything to me. Do you know what I'm saying?
A
Um,
100%. I have people all the time that are like, hey, tell me, oh, you have a dark romance series? And I'm like, do not go in blind. There's
yeah,
massive content and trigger warnings. And some people are like, give them all to me. I
yeah.
love this stuff. And other people are like, no way, I'll stay away. So yeah, it's hard to be everything to everybody all the time.
Okay. So maybe rather than writing something, I do want to write the prequel to this book, but it's so far away. Like I've got to write the whole book, you know? Maybe I
Mhm.
should go back to that other book because the story's there. I like it, you know?
Yeah.
And I wrote it already, and Amanda's already given me all her thoughts on it.
Yeah, I would have, if you feel comfortable and if she's comfortable, we do, like I said, but you just go from there and have, if she's amenable to having a difficult conversation, and, you step through it, coming from a place of love, compassion, and understanding.
And that's
And
and
you
that
will.
I just want people to enjoy, and I don't want to trigger people.
100%.
That's my big thing. Well, and there's a lot of triggering stuff in my Armis Locust series, and I want them to be aware. And trigger warnings, like you said, are on my website. I mean, human trafficking is definitely triggering,
Oh,
and
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
things to her, especially in book one, are very triggering to some people, and I definitely want them to be aware of those things. So,
Well, I'll give you another example. One of my books, they're Catholics. It's
mhm.
very heavy with, the Catholic. And so I put in there about religious subtext
Oh, okay.
because people have strong opinions about different religions.
I like religious subtext. So,
Hmm.
so vague. Okay.
Yeah. And if you want to DM me and we talk about it or jump on, like on Instagram, you can have a call, like a private call. I'll
Yeah,
be
yeah.
more than, yeah, just reach out. We'll just chat about it.
That would probably be good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Of course, girl. I'm here to support you. Okay. So if you're writing, so let's say that one aside for the Flower Series anthology, which you're not behind because yeah, I'm even more behind than you. Have you started the first standalone of the three that are coming in the fantasy series?
Well, yeah, that's the Hearts Burn Slow.
Is it done?
Mostly. I'm reading
Oh,
like the third time. It's actually scheduled to come out in September.
that's so exciting. Congratulations.
Yes, I might have to delay it, but shh.
No, 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 no. It's 2 months away. The
Yes.
universe is working in our favor. Oh, so we don't do that.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. I'll get
Yeah,
there.
we won't speak those words out and make them true. We'll speak out like, I'll make it. It'll be great. That'll be my best launch ever.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'm I'm on like the third or fourth revision. It's okay. It's gonna be the best. Like everybody's gonna be like, oh my gosh, you revised this 4 times? No way.
But I feel like when I first started writing that debut novel, I had this amazing editor friend. You can't even get on her calendar. She's booked out now till 2027.
Oh
And
my.
so, but had I not taken that journey, I wouldn't have found my developmental editor that I have now. And oh, when I tell you she's my ride or die, we are never breaking up, ever. And thank God she's like eons younger than me. So, like, knock on wood, I'll die first. That's how long we're going to be married to each other. Um, but someone had told me, they're like, when you are sick and tired of editing your book and you don't even want to read it, you don't want to touch it, you don't want to revise it, you don't want to edit it, you're like, this is trash, get out of my face. So, like, then you're ready to publish it. And I was like, that is the worst advice ever. And she gave that to me. She's been doing editing for 20 years. And she's like, it is the God's honest truth. And man, she was so right. It is the truth. When you get sick and tired of it, you're like, I don't have one more revision in me.
Yeah.
Done.
Yep. I think my editor's ready to like, all right, so you're ready to submit this to me? Because I submitted it to her for line edits and then I pulled it back and then I submitted it and now I pulled it back again. And she's like, are you really ready to submit this to me yet?
Vaughn, it's like double dutch. You know how double dutch, you're like waiting for the rhythm of the ropes to jump in?
Yeah.
That's your editor. She's like, is it now? Is it now? Is it now?
Is it mine yet?
Am I jumping into the rhythm of the ropes or am I still waiting? Trying to get the feel of them.
I know. I know. She's just like, okay, can I start on these line edits yet or not? It's like, oh, not yet. Just wait.
So if that one is done and you will be shipping that off to her, have you started the next book in that series yet?
No, I haven't. But I have ideas.
Yeah.
I have characters, like pictures of characters. I have character, like, I know who the main characters are, like who the players are. I have, obviously, I have places because they all interconnect.
Right.
Um, and I have like a general theme, like, because they all go together, right? And the timeline and stuff like that, that's all there. But, and I have a basic idea of what's going to happen in the book. But it's, the underlying is romance. And so I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to twist that. Um,
Oh, the romanticy part?
of the book. Yep. Yep. I mean, I've got a lot of ideas, and so I need to sit down with it and get it planned out and write my
Oh,
character arcs and stuff like that.
well, that's my next question. How long does that take you? Is that a week? Is it months? Is it days? Because you already have so much percolating up there. Is it just a matter of finding the time and then it comes out?
Yeah, it's just a matter of sitting down. I spend a lot of time doing the character, like I find a picture for all my characters. I type out who they are, what their lives are like, what their background, depending on how much of a role they play in the book.
Oh, where'd you go? Your audio. I see you. One. Yeah, 1 second.
Okay, sorry, my phone was ringing.
Oh, it's so real.
I had to tell him I call him back.
But I love that because I feel like one, I would love to do that. Do I? No. And then I have to like throw everything on a piece of paper, and I'm like, oh, what a color? What tattoos does he have? What color are his eyes? So I envy that you have the discipline to do that. But I think it is such a great way as a writer to know our characters intimately.
My kid is calling me, and he's now called me twice. So I might have
Yeah.
to jump out.
Well, thank you so much. And when we get closer to when you release this, I want to have you back again. So yes. Thanks, Vaughn.